July 5th, 2016. Board of Supervisors meeting of the County of Tuolumne will come to order. And will you please follow the lead of Supervisor Brennan for our...
Please join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sherry. Yes, happy birthday, America, 240th birthday. We should all live that long. Okay. No, you're right. This is the time for oral communications. Any member of the public may speak on any item that is not on the printed agenda. No action may be taken by the board. Come on up.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Royce, members of the board, and I was going to say Mr. Pedro, but he's not here today. So, my name is Larry Crabtree. I'm the fire chief of the Miwok Sugar Pine Fire Protection District, and I'm here today to thank and commend the county in general, but an employee in particular, for some work that's been done. I know it's not often that, I shouldn't say that, it's more frequent that county employees get complaints than they do attaboys. So this is an attaboy, and I know that you like to hear that about your employees. So this is a letter directed to Supervisor Evan Royce. Dear Mr. Royce, I write this letter to express our appreciation to Mr. Duke York. As you know, the Miwok Sugar Pine Fire Protection District was the recipient of a grant award from the State Responsibility Area Fire Prevention Fund in 2015. This grant was awarded to clear brush and other flammable vegetation from the sides of the county roadways in the Miwok Village and Sugar Pine communities. Mr. York was an invaluable asset in our project from the initiation to the completion. For example, he provided us with accurate maps whenever we requested, and he guided us flawlessly through the encroachment permit process, which is something that fire departments don't usually deal with. In short, we would like to commend Mr. York for not only the information and materials that he supplied, but also for the professional and timely assistance that he provided. Sincerely, Larry Crabtree, Fire Chief. And I have a copy for the record and for the board.
That would be good. Thank you very much.
You got one for Mr. York out there in the audience?
Attaboy, Duke. Oh, I'm sorry, that's action. I guess I can't do that. More public comment?
Good morning to all of you. My name is Suzanne Greenwood. I'm with Infant Child Enrichment Services. We're the good ISIS. On that note, too, I hadn't meant to say this, but when I say that, just for your information, you know, Infant Child Enrichment Services, ICES, has been in Tuolumne County for well over 30 years. However, we are taking suggestions and ideas from people in the public. If you do have ideas for a more appropriate name/acronym, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but we are open to suggestions on that. I am here this morning just to give you a quick snapshot, like I like to do periodically, of the child care picture in our community. As you know, child care is one of the cornerstone industries in our community. It allows working parents to be able to work and to contribute to the local economy. So what I'm just going to share with you real quickly is a few little statistics from our last few quarters of reporting that we do to the state. We are responsible to the state for our data. And so for the past 3 quarters ending in March of the fiscal year 2015-16, we had 248 requests for child care. That usually is in the realm of pre-birth. Some parents call us when they're still pregnant and looking to start checking that out, all the way up till about 12, 13 years old. There are some people who do like to have their children in care as long as possible. Of those calls, 56% of them are for what the state defines as infants and toddlers from 0 to 2 years old. So well over half of the requests are for those infants and toddlers. And as you may remember from us talking before, all of the child care programs, the family child care programs, are very limited in how many infants and toddlers they can care for at any given time so that they can be in compliance with health and safety. So that it's a huge, huge need for parents in our community. There just simply are not enough spots for them. Another statistic is that of the calls that we receive, 43% of them are for full-time care, which is 35 hours a week or more, and 57% are for part-time care. That's a reflection of a lot of the retail positions in our community that a lot of parents have to try to piece together so that they can pay their bills. And another thing is that 46% of those requests are for what we call non-traditional hours, evenings, weekends, rotating schedules. Again, if you think about the people who offer that kind of care, that's hard hours to offer and still have a family of their own, a family life of their own. 77% of the requests are for people who are employed. And just another last quick little statistic. When I started working for ISIS almost 10 years ago, there were 55 licensed family child care providers. In the last 10 years, that number has vacillated as low as the low 20s up to the mid-20s. As of today, we have 29 licensed family child care providers, and probably even more families than there were 10 years ago looking for care. So thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. I would pronounce it ICs, but that's just me. Okay, any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment period, and would the clerk of the board please read the consent calendar?
Minutes of the meeting held June 21st, 2016. Awarding a contract to Graham Contractors, Inc. for work as described in the initiation of bids, Special Districts, crack seal, number 2021. Approving a memorandum of understanding with the City of Sonora for maintenance of shared traffic signals, an invitation for bids for contract 1701, Tuolumne County Road Traffic Signal Maintenance 2016, and issuing a call for bids due on July 28th at 2 p.m. Adoption of a resolution to approve the summary vacation of a public utility easement along the northerly border of Lot 22 of Lakewood Highlands Subdivision Unit 1. Authorizing the engineering staff to prepare and administer an application for funding under Proposition 1 for the Tuolumne City Storm Drain Improvement Project. And approving an appointment of Caitlin Hansen as a discretionary appointee and reappointing Donna Meese as the community representative, Chantel Fowler as the parent consumer, Emily Laird as the public agency representative, Tiffany Flies as the child care provider on the Tuolumne County Local Child Care and Development Planning Council.
Okay, does any member of the board want to pull any item on the consent calendar? Seeing none, do I have any public comment on the consent calendar? Seeing none, I am looking for a motion on the consent calendar.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Supervisor Brennan and a second by Supervisor Gray. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Passes unanimously. Will the clerk of the board please read item 6?
Consideration of adopting a resolution continuing the local state of emergency as required by the California Emergency Services Act, Article 14, Section 8630C, due to the pervasive tree mortality.
How did you like my text messages over the weekend?
Those were fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not an agenda item. Go ahead.
And I actually had everyone respond, which was even equally amazing on a holiday. Tracy Riggs, County Administrator's Office and OES Coordinator. The item before you today is to consider and renew the proclamation for state of emergency for pervasive tree mortality. And I'm often teased because I use that adjective pervasive, but we all know it is definitely that and continues to move its way through our forests. So since the last visit, we've had, as you know, a series of visits. I should say series. We did one. I think it was a week later. We did another media tour, and we had some visitors that came up. The first tour, we had Charles Robamont, who was the Director of Recovery for Cal OES, and various members of the Governor's Tree Mortality Task Force, in addition to Supervisor Hanvelt and Supervisor Brennan. And then in the second one, we had actually had Chief Pimlock come from CAL FIRE, and his assistant chief, Janet Berenston, also came. It was a great opportunity as the chief stood there and watched the, I'm trying to remember, is it 200-ton crane? That was there by PG&E's contractor as they were lifting the tops out of some of these trees that were over and next to homes. What was
the perfect opportunity was to have Chief Pimlott stand there with me and look at all of those trees that we could not access with the current funding because of the rules set around that funding. And he was really looking for a way, how do we get to those trees? Because he, of course, is as equally concerned as we are about those remaining trees. So, you know me, never a wasted opportunity about how can we maybe ask for funding and get some help. So explained that we had applied for this hazard mitigation grant, that grant does allow us to work on private property. And if they were to help us by, say, using this, that's federal funding, if they were to give us additional funds, it would help to meet the needs for those who couldn't afford the 25%. I'll go back. Hazard mitigation has a 75% cost sharing, 75% reimbursement for the county, 25% share of cost that the county has. I'm sorry, the 75 is from Cal OES. With that being said, what we've been wanting to do is set up some type of program similar to what the Tree Mortality Assistance Program is doing, TMAP that Supervisor Brennan is working on for seniors and for those with types of disabilities that would qualify under their program. This would be for anyone who couldn't meet the financial threshold, and that threshold has not been set. But if we were to go into a family and they could not come up with that 25%, what I was asking Chief Pimlott was to help us with a grant that would pay that 25% as long as we went through the verification process. He loved that idea. He wants us to work on that further. We're all looking for ways to take these dollars further than what we're already doing. So with that being said, within your memo here, there are other things besides the grant mitigation that the hazard mitigation grant was actually completed and submitted by Ethan. He did a fantastic job. He can answer any specific questions you might have about that grant. We have two other areas that we have sent out right of entry forms to. One of those is the Miwok Village. Over 900 letters have been sent out. As of this morning, Ethan has confirmed that we have approximately 50% of those letters back. And again, not just for the board, but for those listening, if we do not receive a right of entry form signed that is unchanged, and we'll get to that in a minute, without that signed form, we cannot and will not access an individual's property. Now, the other part of the changing is there are some individuals who do not like the wording within these right of entry permits. We can't change that language. Right now, that language is required by the state. If we change that language, we lose the funding. We've talked to many individuals. We've talked with county counsel. She provided all of you an analysis. We've also, I know Sarah was going to be working with the council at Cal OES, but there are people who are changing, they're modifying, they're changing words within this right of entry form, and if they were to read it, it states right in that right of entry form that if it is modified in any way, that it is then voided. So we do have a stack of those. We'll be contacting those homeowners to see if they would still like to sign the document. So you know our course of action. When we go out, we'll be working with Mike Albrecht, our tree mortality coordinator, to begin identifying. The goal is to make 3 projects in the Miwok Village area because it is so large. Once those 3 projects are identified, then what we will do is send our foresters and arborists out into the field. And for those who have not signed, they will have blank forms with them so they can knock on the door if those individuals are there and talk to them and see if they're willing to sign then. If not, we will have to skip those properties, and I really hate to do that. The other area that we've sent letters out to is the old Highway 120. And I think there's approximately 50 to 65 letters that were sent out in that area. We just should be starting to receive those. Those were sent out a little over a week ago. It takes a little bit of time, usually generates a lot of phone calls. With that being said, those will be different contractors. What's kind of slowing the process down is, as we had mentioned before, PG&E has been working with a new contractor who is a national debris removal company. We just don't know what that will mean for us. I think it's good for us. They will actually be removing everything that they take down, and they will even go back and remove what they did and have done in the past, as long as it was PG&E trees. But it will take them some time to get going. They did confirm that they do plan to utilize local contractors. That is good and bad. That means that we have less contractors for our projects, and our resources then are diminished. But we do want them to use local contractors. So we just have to figure out how to work with this. The other thing that Ethan's been working on is an invitation to bid for our local buildings. Ed Hogue has gone out twice now. He did it once and went back a few months later to do another walkthrough with an arborist, and I do believe the number of trees doubled, if not tripled. And some of those are large. They're 140-foot trees. This will be a big contract that we will need to be putting out. So that will go fairly soon. Instead of Mike being the lead on that, it will be Ed, since they're county facilities and buildings. So that will also be taking place. The wood yard is still open, and one of the things I want to talk to you guys about, just to think about, we will have Mike come probably within the next month or so to talk more about this. That wood yard, as you know, is open to the public. Anyone can bring high hazard zone product down there. So if they are cleaning off their own lots and they're not waiting for PG&E or they've removed their own trees, that wood can go down there. Just last week, they were bringing in a chipper so they could begin chipping the product that's there. They have logging trucks that have come down, mostly from the Groveland area. But remembering that PG&E has their own agreement with SPI for both the wood for market and the wood for their power there, not ultra power, their biomass there. The cost to run the wood yard is $25,000 a month. We've talked about this. It was in the contract. What Mike and I are wondering is, as we work with PG&E, we need to start analyzing as we go forward, is that the best way that we utilize that funding? Or maybe we look at something a little more creative, because most of that wood will be going with the PG&E's provider, their contractor, which will leave us very little. Do we want to pay that much to have that product taken in and have something sitting there with staff and equipment? Or do we want to do something, and I haven't ran this by OES, I'm looking for your consideration, maybe they would allow us to do rebates. So people who are able to get the wood taken to, say, one of these green waste facilities, I know some that will take anything. Mr. Wise, he'll take any amount of wood that we can bring in, and he'll just take it. So it's just something to think about. It might be a better way to utilize it, reimburse individuals when they're taking or having this wood taken down, and looking for your guidance on that just as we move forward. It is a lot of money to have that wood yard, and Mike is concerned that as we go forward, we'll find that it's really not being utilized. So is there another creative way that we can work with them? We still continue to push for the ultra power extension. I have to tell you, there's what I'm hearing is not a lot of hope, and that's frustrating. We have all, as you know, Supervisor Hanvelt, Brennan, and myself, and many of you have reached out trying to educate both the Tree Mortality Task Force as well as CPUC and PG&E how much we need to keep that plant, but it's not sounding very positive. And then, of course, the federal proclamation. You may have heard, and I think I brought this up during the last time, there was a congressman who put out that, it's been denied. Just so you know, it has never been submitted, has not been requested. I think that conversation was something that congressman had with other individuals, especially since I think he's head of the Natural Resource Committee. However, there are conversations taking place in Washington, D.C. We just had Ken Pimlott, who was back there last week when I was asking for, I'm trying to remember if it was last week or the week before, I was asking for a quote for us for the CSAC Challenge Award. They are going back and they're having conversations with D.C., so it doesn't sound like this window has been closed, but exactly what I've said to you in the past, and you guys already have said this as well, if FEMA approves this, they could be looking at the entire western United States. That's a huge cost. They did not approve it for Colorado, and Colorado, we know, went through this for over a decade. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm hoping it does. We're preparing everything that we possibly can do to make sure that if it does come in, we have our place. We are in the right place for the maximum reimbursement possible. But just want to make sure you all know that request has not been submitted by the governor's office. They are still fine-tuning their numbers. And then the last thing is we, about 2 weeks ago, Ethan and myself met with Jeannie Higgins, Josh White, and the undersheriff, and we talked about evacuations in the forest, especially in light of the tree mortality issue. And the supervisor, Jeannie Higgins, had thrown out that they may have some funding that could help us on county roads that go through forest lands, so that essentially help pay for those trees along those roadways. We met with Jeannie again. Craig and I did a week ago last Friday, and then last week both Ethan and myself met with, and Mike, with a few other members, Rob Lang, and I think it was Becky from the U.S. Forest Service. We worked on a grant. This would be an 80-20 match, so it's not 100%, but there's a lot of things that could qualify for match with the Forest Service. So to make sure you know that's coming, that's not a done deal. We let them know as soon as they have all of the details fine-tuned. Rob will give that to me, and then I will bring that to you, because that would be obligating us to 20%. It's still better than the 25, but I think we have a little more flexibility with this, and it is federal funding, so we could also ask for some state funding as a match for that as well. So that was a lot of information, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Supervisor Handel.
Yeah, just to clarify one thing, because I don't want people to get disappointed. That wood yard is open to the public, but it's not slash and it's not pine needles.
Correct.
I think they have to understand we're looking at bulk logs and rounds, if you will,
Right.
for that. The other thing that I think everybody needs to be aware of is that resources obviously are going to thin out here as we're already in fire season. And Ken Pimlott's in this all in, but he's got to take care of fire, the first thing. But I think everybody needs to understand that while the state has added the 4 counties north of us, Calaveras, Amador, Placer, and El Dorado, there are other counties that are looking to get into this game too. Yuba County at the last RCRC meeting mentioned they have a lot of dead trees in their Sierra foothills. They don't go high into the country, but they're seeing them. They want to know how they get in the game. So Ethan sent them information. And here's the one that'll get you, Tehama County. Tehama County doesn't have Sierra foothills. They have the east face of the coastal range, and they're seeing the same problem. So the problem is growing statewide, and the resources in the state are going to thin out in terms of how they get spread. And so we got to go get done what we can get done with some urgency. And I know that our team is doing that, but I just want everybody to understand that. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, quick question for Ethan. When do we expect to know about the grant?
September.
September?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I submitted it, all they did was just let me know that it was accepted, that they received it, and then they said I wouldn't hear anything from them until September.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Supervisor Brennan.
So, 2 points. On the biomass piece, I know we've had interested publics over some period of time ask for some talking points, that they would be willing to write letters, and I think that would be very effective. Have we put those talking points online? That's in some place where people can access them?
No, not yet, but I will do that.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. And then just a comment. I went over Sonora Pass over the weekend, and I'm going to say that this problem is moving both eastward and expanding just exponentially, the dead trees or the trees that are in the process of dying. And I just want to make certain that our publics are very aware of how tinder dry it is and what the fire potential is, and we know fire knows no boundaries. Be very careful when you're out there. Be very conscious of what you're doing, especially if you are building campfires. Be very aware of what's going on around you.
Okay. I'd like to echo Supervisor Brennan's last thought, well, all of them, but especially the last thought. Eat cold food. I'd like to talk about a couple of things. First of all, I'm not sure you want ideas from the board on the wood yard. You get the 5 of us doing free-form thinking here. But no, seriously though, I would be interested in you folks putting together a couple of possible options that we might consider. I think the expertise resides in your group, not so much up here on the dais.
Okay.
The second thing, I just want to talk to the public a little bit about these letters of entry that we're asking you to sign to allow us to come on and fix your problem for you, basically. If you don't sign those and we don't come on, that increases your potential liability if a tree should fall and damage something on someone else's property. So, you get an opportunity to have somebody fix your problem and then you don't fix it yourself. and you cause some damage to somebody else's property, you could end up with a significant liability on your part. We're just trying to help. We have some limitations put on us by the state because it is their money that we're using, and please cooperate with us. We're not in there to create mayhem. We're in there to try and help you. So enough said on that.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think I had brought to you last that we had met with the California Conservation Corps, and that there was another group, and they are a regional CC, I guess. They're called the Greater Valley Conservation Corps. And we didn't know there are 13 of these across the state of California, and they, while they are not the state CCC, they are certified by the state CCC. There are two reasons I'm bringing this up. There are several reasons. The first is we know we're going to lose our inmate crews, and those inmate crews are doing what essentially that end product of breaking up all of that slash and all of those needles and the branches, and they're feeding them in and putting them back onto the landscape. It's really a critical part of this cleanup process. The state CCC, they'll come in, I think I told you it's $500,000, 6 months. They do a tent camp, and you get 3 crews of 15, and they work for you. The problem is the CCC is often called away for fires as well, and that's an issue. So Ethan and I met with Kathy Parks of Tuolumne County Office of County Superintendents of Education, and then we also met with Nick Mueller. And he was explaining the program to us. Theirs is a little bit different, and I just want to make sure you guys are aware of this and the public is aware of this. They come in, they only use local youth, so 18 to 24. They don't bring youth from outside the county, they get youth from inside the county. Their groups are a little bit smaller. Their crews are 5 to 6. It's $23 an hour. That includes equipment and all of their training. They do first aid, CPR, OSHA training, and train them on the use of all of the equipment. This is one of the areas that I'd like to look towards, not I, but we would like to look towards in getting their assistance. They don't get called away for fires, and they're solely dedicated to working in our county. And again, it's our local youth. So they come in once a contract is signed, and they begin recruiting, training, and getting them ready. We would like to start doing that immediately. And while we have within, as we talked about, you guys had given the county administrator authority to sign for anything that was already budgeted. We have monies budgeted, but we don't have this specific type of service. This is new, but it's definitely worth something considering, especially since it's investing back into our local youth. And we can get as many crews. If we want 3 crews, we can get 3 crews. They do all of the work in getting that going. So I want to make sure you guys know that could be a way also to match what we do with Forest Service, having those crews, those kids I call them, but they're 18 to 24, young adults, coming in and working behind the new contractor for PG&E. I threw this idea out for them. What if they continue to fall our trees as well as their trees, and they haul away all the large debris, and then we have these crews come in behind, kind of like CAL FIRE was doing. They rake it all up, they chip it, put it back on the landscape. And I was working with Matt Plummer, who sits on the governor's task force. They really like that idea, and I want to make sure that I threw that out to you guys to think about it. Any thoughts, if that's something that you would support? But I think it's definitely a way to mitigate the loss of the inmate crews from baseline.
I think we should do everything we can. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Okay, public comment on this, please. Oh, you're all bashful today. Okay, seeing none, bring it back to the board. I got a motion or anything?
I move we extend the state of emergency, adopt the attached resolution of the memo.
Okay, got a motion by Supervisor Handbelt, second by Supervisor Royce. Any last comments? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Passes 5-0-0. Pardon me? Yes, please read number 7.
Consideration of adopting a resolution continuing the local state of emergency as required by the California Emergency Services Act, Article 14, Section 8630, due to drought conditions.
Sorry, I was busy watching the Chinese fire drill down here at the table. But Ethan, are you the speaker on this one?
Yes.
Go
Good
ahead.
morning, ladies and gentlemen, member of this board, Mr. Chair. Ethan Billigmeyer, Tuolumne County Administrator's Office, Office of Emergency Services, here before you to extend the local state of emergency due to drought. As of June 2016, June 13th, 2016, we have 238 wells that are dry. 11 springs have been reported dry, which has affected a total of 348 homes. As of this date, we have installed 124 temporary water tanks, which equates to about 125,960 gallons of water delivered so far through Mike McConnell potable water hauling. We continue to test wells. We're getting a few new referrals. We've installed 2 new tanks in the last couple of months, so wells are continuing to go dry out there. I was just talking with Ms. Riggs, and we are thinking about doing another media outlet, or go to the local media station to do some outreach to let people know that this is still a viable program and we're still installing water tanks and the funding is still available. TUD pipeline update. I just spoke with the TUD engineer, Jennifer Batt, who is doing the design for this project. The alignment was marked. The surveyors have gone out there and marked the entire length of the project. She has given flags to those homeowners so they can start marking where they would like their meters installed on their property. Right now, the funding is broken up with the Department of Water Resources funding $755,349 of the project. Cleanup and abatement through the State Water Resources Control Board funding $418,755. And then a public water system drought emergency response through State Water Resources Control Board funding $499,420. So roughly it's about $1.6 million is what the project is estimated at right now. Projections for the summer, we still continue, like I said, we still continue to see water referrals coming in. We have folks out there who I know that don't know about the program. We had a woman come in the other day, and she's actually been out of water for almost a year. She didn't know about the program, so we got her set up with a tank, and that led us to believe that there are still people out there that just don't know that this program exists. So we want to try to get out there and let people know that we are still in a drought, and we will continue to be in a drought. We still have money for water tank replacement and potable water hauling. We also have the emergency bottled water program that we have funding for, which is to help people that have wells that are contaminated. There is a income eligibility on that. If you make less than $48,000 a year, you qualify for that. If you make more, unfortunately, you'll have to provide your own bottled water. And with that, I also have I'm thinking she's here. Her name is Deborah Powell with the Master Gardeners. Oh, okay, perfect.
Do you want me to come up?
Yes, please. Yeah. So Deborah Powell's here, and she's here to talk to you guys about the Smart Irrigation Month, and she's with the Master Gardeners. And so with that, I will turn it over to Deborah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ethan. Well, it's still a critical situation with the water, and Smart Irrigation Month is put on by a nonprofit through industry, the irrigation industries, other groups, but it's definitely a nonprofit organization to promote water conservation via smart irrigation. So it's really critical that we do everything we can. Now, you were talking about getting the word out as far as the programs that you have, so that's something maybe we can actually help you do, because the mission of the Master Gardeners is to educate the public at large, and we're doing it in a variety of ways. One of the things it really does take a collaborative effort to get out all the information, because what we found is our public, our clients, of course, the Master Gardeners are all volunteers, and they're, nonprofit, administered through the University of California Cooperative Extension Program. But it takes a variety of means. People get their information from television, from media. They get it from Facebook. I'm not very knowledgeable about it, but thank goodness we have Master Gardeners that are. So it takes all those different ways to get the information out. One of the things that we've been very, very fortunate to do is to actually collaborate with TUD, Lisa Westbrook, and we have some of our information in their newsletter. And I'm also going to give you, if I can, some information packets that illustrates some of the other ways that we're getting the information out to the public. One way is we've got an article. This is actually, everybody's going to get one. More information is always good. It's an article in the Union Democrat that went out last Saturday, we hope, and that is actually talking about and explaining smart irrigation. Now, we are going to talk about irrigation for the whole month of July in the Union Democrat, so there will be an additional 3 articles. Now, referring back to TUD's newsletter, for the last, it's been years now, but I'm also going to give you copies of some of the articles that have been in the newsletter. And again, it's talking about water conservation and smart irrigation. Another method that we're using to get the word out is actually face-to-face, and that means talking to clients at farmers markets, and we're doing that at Sonora Farmers Market. We're doing it at the Farmery in Columbia, and there we're very lucky, to collaborate with TUD on a brochure, literally just briefly, how to save water. So anyway, we just really appreciate your attention to it and giving us the opportunity to talk about smart irrigation. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if I can get... Okay.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
So is that it, Ethan?
That is it. Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Yeah.
Public comment? Hello, Lisa. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Well, thank you for acknowledging this and doing the Smart Irrigation Month. It's an awesome opportunity, and our collaboration with the Master Gardeners has been phenomenal. So Tuolumne Utilities District would like to thank all the Master Gardeners of Tuolumne County for their help and ongoing cooperation on educating county residents about water conservation and changing their outdoor irrigation habits. Since the impacts of the drought, which seems so long ago, but it was 2014, the Master Gardeners have had many workshops and have been so instrumental in offering suggestions and tips on conservation through our On Tap newsletter, which I'm going to leave you here. It's beautiful. We do this every other month. It goes in with the bills, and we also have it online. So if you miss it, you can always go online and check it out. And just to let you know, even though the district has lifted its conservation target, for the month of May, they hit a conservation target of 34%, which is amazing. So people have changed their habits, and a lot of that has been because of the work of the Master Gardener. So thank you, Debbie. So I also want to thank you for the collaboration efforts of the county staff. Tracy and Ethan have been so instrumental, not only through the drought that we've all been through, but now we're sticking together with the tree mortality issue and also the upcoming pipeline extension for courts. Thank you very much.
I want to pass my thanks on to you for a very rapid response and rapid resolution of our little issue in Columbia yesterday. So
Great.
please pass that on to your
I sure
general
will.
manager, and I will be sending something to the board as well.
Okay.
Thank you. For those of you that don't know it, we had a sinkhole and a water main break yesterday about 1 minute before the start of the 4th of July parade in Columbia. And we were without water for less than an hour, I believe, because TED responded so rapidly. Anyway, back to the drought. Any board comments before we... I'm sorry, any other public comment? None. Okay. Bring it back to the board for a motion.
excuse me, I move adoption of the resolution to continue the local state of emergency as required by the California Emergency Services Act due to drought conditions.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Supervisor Brennan, a second by Supervisor Gray. And before, just one last comment. I live about a mile off the end of the Columbia Airport, so when there's a fire, I know it because the bombers start taking off. They are really, really active. This drought, every drop of water we throw in a fire is a drop of water that isn't available for people to shower with, flush their toilets, or take a drink of water with. So please be extra careful. We are seriously, seriously dry out there. So anyway, with that, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstain? 500. Item 8. Thank you, too.
Consideration of approving as to form a project delivery and construction agreement with the state of California for the new Tuolumne County Jail project.
Great.
Okay.
Yes. Maureen Frank, Deputy County Administrator, and I'll be talking to you about this agenda item and the next one are both related to the new jail that we're constructing. As your board is aware, the county applied for and received the Adult Local Criminal Justice Facility Construction Finance Programming, or as we know it as SB 1022, and the Local Jail Construction Finance Program, which is AB 900 Phase 2 funds. We received a total of $20 million and $13 million respectively from both of those granting funds. Since that time of award, county staff has been working both with Lionakis Architects on the design of the facility and also state officials in regards to all of the project establishment. And we need to go through, because of the granting funds, we need to go through project establishment with the state of California in order to then start the process of them reviewing our project and getting it scheduled in front of the respective state boards. Before you today is a project delivery and construction agreement. As you can see, we're being asked to approve this as to form. It's filled with tons of blanks in it and all they're looking for. And we did the same thing with the Motherlode Regional Juvenile Detention Facility. Is this agreement will then spell out what the state of California and what the county's responsibilities are and what we agree to as we will utilize these funds as we begin the construction of the new jail. We're looking, the reason this is coming before your board at this time is we're looking at going to the State Public Works Board August 12th, and so this is one of the items that they need to complete that agenda package. I'm here to answer any questions you have, and also Jail Commander McKay is in the audience also if you have any questions on this document.
Okay, any questions for staff? Public comment? Bring it back. Do I have a motion? Supervisor Hanbelt?
Let's see. I'll move in favor of approving the form for the project delivery and construction agreement with the state of California for the construction of the new Tuolumne County Jail.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a supervisor. I have a motion by Supervisor Hanbelt and a second by Supervisor Gray. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Please read item 9.
Consideration of adopting a resolution reaffirming the county's commitment to and funding sources for the new county jail construction project.
I know you've been waiting a long time for this. Go ahead.
Just as if we discussed in the previous item, for project establishment, one of the items required for that board item in front of the State Public Works Board is the county's reaffirmation that we agree to both of the granting sources, AB 1022 and AB 900, and we're committing to the match that is required for both of these items. The current plans and specifications for the jail project are a construction of a jail facility that's approximately 70,000 square feet and will consist of 230 beds. The jail will also be comprised of the typical things that you will find in a jail: intake, public lobby, kitchen, medical unit, administrative areas, program support areas, things like that. The total cost for the project, including state funds, cash match, and in-kind match, equates to $44,716,000. The County of Tuolumne will be meeting the cash match requirement of approximately $11,716,000 through contributions from the county's general fund. What staff plans to do is come back to your board on July 19th to give you a full report detailing all of the projects on the Law and Justice Center site and give you a rundown of our financial obligations out there, not only for this jail project, but for all of them. We apologize that this item is coming before we could do a full presentation, but again, it's due to the state for their State Public Works agenda item for our project. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Chairman, just
Supervisor Gray?
just a quick question. Of this $11 million, I know your analysis will come back and tell us this, but can you give us a kind of a ballpark figure on how much of that $11 million we've already spent?
Just roughing it, we've probably already spent close to 40-50% of that.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question of the jail commander. Come on up. Actually, I just want to remind everyone that this is your jail that we're building.
Thank you.
Okay. The question I have for you is, are you satisfied with how we're progressing?
Absolutely. The support that we received from the board, from the CAO's office, our office, of course, it's just been amazing, and we are so excited. And I'm really grateful to be a part of this whole process because I really feel privileged. The timing is good, and it's really nice to have input in what the future is going to be for our staff and the public as well.
Okay. I just don't want anybody to forget whose jail it is.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a pacing on you coming back with the full accounting that you were talking about at the next board meeting?
I'm sorry,
Is there something that's driving the timing of that, other than getting us the information as soon as possible?
No, just trying to keep this board aware of what's going on, and because we presented it here, we wanted to come back as soon as possible to give you a full financial. So if
Okay.
there's...
I will be absent at the next board meeting, and I would like to hear that
Okay.
presentation.
So if your board would like, staff can reschedule it for another meeting if you're comfortable with that.
Could we defer it till the first meeting in
Is
August?
it an excused absence, or is it?
Yeah, it's an excused
Okay,
absence.
all right, fine.
Okay, thank you. They're all excused absences. Okay, so let's do it on the first meeting in August.
Staff will reschedule it for that. for
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, public comment? If not, bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we reaffirm the county's commitment and funding source for the construction of the new Tuolumne County Jail.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Supervisor Gray and a second by Supervisor Brennan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 5-0. Please read item number 10.
Consideration of adopting a resolution approving the dissolution of the South Sonora Lighting District as required by the City of Sonora, requested by the City of Sonora.
Hello, Bev.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Bev Shane, Community Resources Director. Every 5 years, the Local Agency Formation Commission, known as LAVCO, conducts municipal service reviews of all of the special districts in the county. On December 9th of 2013, LAVCO adopted the municipal service review for the lighting districts within the county, and that report recommended that the South Sonora Lighting District, which is located entirely within the city of Sonora, be dissolved and its services transferred to the city. The South Sonora Lighting District was formed on November 3rd, 1952, by the Board of Supervisors under the Improvement Act of 1911. Funding for this district is provided through ad valorem property taxes that are paid by the owners of parcels within the district. The district encompasses the southern portion of the city, which includes South Washington Street, Hospital Road, Restano Way, Sunset Street, and the western portion of Mona Way. Current funding for this district provides about $1,800 per year, $8,400 per year, and expenses are about $1,800 per year. The fund currently has a balance of $156,000. Because the South Sonora Lighting District was formed under the Improvement Act of 1911, it is not subject to LAVCO review and consideration for dissolution. That authority rests with your board. On May 2nd, 2016, the City of Sonora adopted a resolution requesting that your board dissolve the lighting district and that the property taxes within the boundary of the district, including any increases, be allocated to the City of Sonora, and the assets, liabilities, fund balance of the South Sonora Lighting District be transferred to the city. As such, today we are asking your board to adopt the enclosed resolution which would dissolve this lighting district.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Any public comment? Board comments or a motion?
I'll move to approve the resolution which dissolves the South Sonora Lighting District.
Okay. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, got a motion by Supervisor Brennan, a second by Supervisor Royce. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Please read item number 11.
Consideration of approving correspondence to Governor Brown requesting that he work with the state legislature to take immediate action to pass a transportation funding package that would not increase taxes but instead reallocates existing state funding for maintaining and improving road systems in the state of California.
Ms. Shane.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm Bev Shane, your Director of Transportation. As you know, during your discussions of the budget projections for the next 5 years, your board directed staff to prepare correspondence for your consideration to the governor to request that he work with the state legislature to identify sources or create sources of funding for road maintenance. Before you this morning is the sixth in a series of correspondence that you have sent to the governor or you're considered sending to the governor. At your last meeting, your board did ask us to focus on vehicle license fees in this particular letter. I'll just mention that vehicle license fees fund a significant portion of motorist-related necessities for the state of California. None of the money goes directly to road maintenance, but it does fund the Highway Patrol, California Highway Patrol, and the Department of Motor Vehicles, as well as other state programs I'll mention in a moment. Our letter opens with reminding the governor that in 2015, California's economy grew to the point where it is now the sixth largest economy in the world. In April of this year, the median price of a single-family home in California exceeded $500,000 for the first time since the recession in 2007. Unfortunately, as we point out, access to these $500,000 homes is via roads that are riddled with potholes and are crumbling at an alarming rate. We note that California's economy is doing so well that the governor was able to propose and the state legislature was able to pass a fiscal year 2016-17 budget with record high spending. The $122.5 billion spending plan allocates funds for the rainy day budget reserve, increases funding for education, and includes new funding for local law enforcement and jail construction. While we acknowledge these are all things that need additional funding and certainly are worthy of it, the state budget does not address the issue of the deteriorating condition of our roads, not just local roads, but also throughout the state of California state highway system. We note that transportation infrastructure funding should be one of the state's top priorities and not something that is left behind after the other priorities established by the governor have been funded, such as new government buildings and the high-speed rail system. We then mentioned that the motorists in California pay the vehicle license fee as other fees to the Department of Motor Vehicles. Right now, those fees generate $4.5 billion in revenue for the state. And again, none of that revenue is allocated directly for road maintenance. In 1986, Proposition 47 was passed and required that the vehicle license fee be allocated to cities and counties. And since that time, legislation has been passed that redirected these funds to programs that were realigned from the state to the local jurisdictions, meaning that services that used to be provided by the state are now provided by local governments. Currently, there are $600 million in revenue that is generated for the vehicle license fee. While cities and counties do receive some of this funding for their general funds, most of the funds have been allocated by state law to special programs. In the case of Tuolumne County, $2 million of the vehicle license fee revenue is allocated directly to mental health, public health, and social services, and that is required by law. None of the VLF is directly funding our road maintenance. We close by noting that motorists expect to see fees that they paid related to their vehicles go towards road maintenance or other infrastructure needs. And we ask that the governor work with the state legislature to address that issue.
Okay. Any questions of staff?
Just
Supervisor
a
Gray.
comment. I particularly like the last picture on the letter.
I thought you would.
I think that really makes a point.
Is that your driveway?
No, but yeah, it's a well-written letter. I think it covers everything that we have discussed. It really points out the problems. But again, looking at the letter, looking at that picture, there's no doubt we have a problem. Thank you.
Who wrote that letter?
It's a collaborative effort.
Okay, because it's a really good letter. I really appreciate it. One of the stats in there I just want to highlight is the $2 million vehicle license fee figure, which I think it was actually 2.8 last year, and it's 2.4 this year or something like that. So just for the public's sake, $2.4 million in Tuolumne County vehicle license fees are taken from transportation because of the realignment in 91, right, and are used for social services, mental health, behavioral health, things that have nothing to do with vehicles or roads or anything to do with what the revenue source originates from. So that is why I get so upset, and I appreciate the letter that focuses on those points. So thank you.
Any other board comments? Go ahead, Supervisor Brennan.
Yeah, I'd like to add a couple of CCs on this. The first year that I was a supervisor, I took a CSAC media class, and I think we need to find a couple of reporters, one with the Wall Street Journal, maybe the Sacramento Bee, some maybe the LA Times. We can come up with a list.
Modesto Bee.
Correct. And these letters are very well done, and I think we need to be putting them out to a few of those reporters and see if we couldn't find somebody that would want to do maybe a series or something with a cover letter. And
Ron Jardine at the Modesto Bee, too.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, very good
Okay.
point, Sherry.
Any public comment? Okay, I just have one suggestion for the letter. I do think it's an excellent letter, but this is just a personal thing, and I'm not wedded to it. So if my constituents on the board or my cohorts on the board don't agree, I'd like to have an intro paragraph that tells them what we really want. And I've written down, Tuolumne County urges you in the strongest manner to convene a special session of the legislature at the earliest possible point in time to most urgently address the dire state of the roads and across our state and in our communities, and then go into the rest of the letter. I just like to tell them up front what it is that we want out of this letter. Because if he quits reading, he's never going to get to that really cool picture and that really that closing statement at the end of it. Okay?
Okay.
You can give me those comments, and I'll put them in the letter. And
I've got it written
Okay,
down.
cool.
Okay. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move we approve the letter with some slight modifications you suggested.
I did do public comment. I have a motion by Supervisor Hanvelt and a second by Supervisor Royce. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, do you have any direction for your next letter? Or just leave it up to staff?
Well, we've given you enough direction.
Okay.
Use your imagination. Unless anybody got anything? Okay.
They do a better job of it than we do. So.
I know. They don't need our help. Okay, thank you very much. That is a great letter. Yes, ma'am. Go with item 11A.
A.
Yeah, 11A.
Consideration of approving an amendment to the fiscal year 2016-17 recommended budget, increasing anticipated revenue and appropriations by $221,577 and adding 3 grant-funded full-time employee positions to the District Attorney's Cost Center associated with the California Office of Emergency Services underserved Victim Advocates and Outreach Program grant.
Good morning. Chairperson Rotifer and members of the board, I'm Ginger Martin with the District Attorney's Office, and I'm here on behalf of Laura Creek. As was presented to your board in June of this year, the District Attorney's Office was awarded the California Office of Emergency Services Underserved Victim Advocacy Outreach Program grant. I apologize for the mouthful. I don't make up those titles. The objective for the grant funds is to provide outreach and case management services to all elder abuse victims in our community. Today, I'm here to request that your board approve the budget for the grant, and I would also like to note that on the attachment, it says at the top, fiscal year 15-16 proposed budget, and that should read 16-17 proposed budget.
Okay. Any questions of staff? Any public comment? Okay, I'd just like to again say that this is a lot of people look at district attorneys as the people that try and put them in jail, but this is an excellent example of the flip side of the district attorney's office and how important they are to victim advocacy. So I want to thank you for that. And with that, I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move in favor of
I asked for public comment.
approving the fiscal year budget, authorize the increase for 3.
Okay.
Seems how we didn't hear that.
Okay, I've got a motion. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Okay, now I'll ask for public comment. Okay, seeing none, that I asked, but seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 5-0, unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12.
This is a second reading of an ordinance amending Title 11 and Chapter 15.20 related to the consistency of the recently amended California SARA fire safe regulations.
County Council.
Hi, Deputy County Counsel Carlin Drivdahl. This is a second reading of an ordinance addressing concerns raised by the Board of Forestry with regard to the county's 4290 in lieu regulations, fire safe regulations. Assuming your board adopts today, we have the package ready to submit to the Board of Forestry so we can hopefully get on their July 19th agenda. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Anybody have any questions? Any public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we propose the revisions to the county in lieu regulations.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Supervisor Gray. Pardon me, a second by Supervisor Brennan. I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? It is unanimous. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a little bit of a break early, and we'll come back for item 13 after the break. Let's come back about 10:20. Okay, we'll go ahead and reconvene. Will the clerk of the board please read item 13?
Continued consideration of approving correspondence to Governor Jerry Brown requesting his support for local vetting of candidates for the Motherlode Fair Board.
Okay. Supervisor Brennan.
So this item was tabled at our last meeting, and want to thank Councilwoman Williams. I've had a couple of conversations with her. I want to stress that our conversations were her opinion and not, she was not carrying any message from the City Council. But a few minor changes were made to the letter. The most significant, I would say, is on page 2, and that was adding a second option. I'm going to step back for a second, and I want to remind everyone of the importance of our fairgrounds to this community. Has a substantial financial piece for the city of Sonora and actually the entire county with the events that we bring in. It's a regional facility. And very important also from an emergency standpoint. It is the one place so that we can do emergency evacuations, and we've seen it time and time again, most notably with the Stanislaus Complex Fire Evacuation Center and more recently the Rim Fire. So we all, I think, can agree of how important this facility is to the county, and I believe to the city also. We need a fairgrounds that is responsive to our local community. And this is an item that is being experienced in a number of counties. Supervisor Can from Mariposa County has talked about this extensively. We have just watched Modoc County. They did not have a fair last year. They are going through some restructuring process. There are a number of rural counties that are literally on the verge of also, for a whole host of reasons, but they are on the verge of losing their county fairs. So it's not just the fair that I'm talking about. I want to be very clear. It is a viable working facility that is so important to this county. So I would urge my fellow supervisors to approve this letter with one addition, and that's that I would like to put a CC on this, and I would like Supervisor Hanfeld to carry this to RCRC, and we need to work with a group of counties and work with the governor's office to really try and find some solutions so that there is more local accountability. Whether it is some variation of, remember that the suggestions 1 and 2 are just that, they're ideas. If it's some variation on that, we need to find an opportunity for these facilities to be to have some local accountability.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Supervisor Hanvelt.
I like the letter, and I'm more than happy to carry it to RCRC. There's an executive committee meeting next week. There is one small correction I'd like to make to the letter. The Stanislaus Complex fire was 1987, I believe, not 86.
And you're correct. It was.
Okay. Thank you for your good proofreading. Supervisor Gray.
Excuse me, take a little bit different line here because I'm not going to discount the importance of the fairgrounds, the facility, how important it is to have it within our county. One of the problems that I'm having is that there's absolutely nobody from the fairs that's in this room that's asked for help officially to go to the governor. The other aspect that a problem I had at the last meeting, I had a question on the vetting process, and since then I did meet with a fair board member that was recently appointed, and she did explain the number of things that she went through her vetting process, and whether it's always done that way, I don't know. I think that was going to be some of the discrepancies that we were talking about. Now, here it says we're interested in leasing the fairgrounds. Maybe the analogy is better. Is it a silk purse or a sow's ear? I mean, it's an agricultural fair. Do we know what are the long-term costs of bringing the fair up to the standards? In discussion, I do know that there's sewer line problems, there's chute problems, I don't know what problems there are. If we ask those questions and get those resolved, and then we say, okay, we're interested in leasing. But just to say we want to lease it without any detail doesn't make any business sense. The other thing is,
can
I finish, please?
Okay.
The real thing is that right now we're bringing a juvenile detention facility online. We're building a new jail. We're going to add, if we add facilities, we know we already have an abundance of things for the facilities department to do. We need to know what this would cost us in order to take this lease line. I'm not saying I'm against it, but just to blatantly say I'm in favor of leasing it, I'm not. I can't be. Too many questions there. We've reduced the hours of library operations. We're not going to fund road positions because we don't have enough money. We're going to be working on instituting the compensation plan. We have so many things on our table right now, and to say that we're interested in leasing a fair, I think, is really premature. Thank you.
Okay. Supervisor Brennan.
Yeah, and so maybe we didn't state it clearly enough, but I think the opening sentence to that, knowing that you believe local government is best equipped to deal most effectively with local issues, we are proposing two possible solutions. This is opening a conversation. It is recognizing that there are issues going on here and other places in the state, and that these are two possible solutions. What I am most interested in is opening a dialogue with other counties that are experiencing similar problems and starting down a pathway to find some solutions.
Okay, why can't we simply say that we're interested in opening up a dialogue on how our fairs are operated versus saying we don't like the way Governor, you're doing your job, and we want to lease the property. I think a letter saying that we would wish to open up a dialogue on the way our county fairs are operated, and especially within Tuolumne County. I am not arguing that it's not important to have that fair. It's the approach that we're taking here. Just to me, it's cart before the horse. Doesn't make sense.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and ask for public comment before I make my comments. Is there any public comment? Hello.
For allowing me to comment this time, since I wasn't allowed to comment last time. So I am opposed to this letter, and thank you, Mr. Gray. There is a reason why you are my favorite. So, in my opinion, this is none of your business, and this is out of your jurisdiction. And I don't recall anywhere on any agenda where you made a decision that you could write in here, we would lease or accept ownership of the fairground facilities and administer them locally. That needs to be a separate conversation. So I think that's very inappropriate to have in this letter. And I appreciate that the snotty tone was taken out of the letter as opposed to the first one. But it didn't come out in the media, and I don't know if anyone was paying attention, but the state fair is now involved in trying to get this fair back on track. So at the last meeting, not only was the senior legal counsel for the entire California Department of Food and Agriculture present at the meeting, as she had been at the prior meeting, but they also brought a deputy general manager of Cal Expo, who's going to be working with this board. So I think we should back off and allow them the opportunity to work with their own fair board instead of you butting your nose into it. And secondly, there are a lot of problems with the fairs, and perhaps we should allow the fairs to take the first crack at meeting together and solving their problems. So I think the county has enough to take care of on its own plate, as Mr. Gray pointed out, and I don't think you should be getting involved in this at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. I agree with everybody to some extent. First of all, I would point out that this is not, in my mind, this is not a problem that has raised its head, ugly or otherwise, in the last year or two. This is a problem that we have been struggling with since the state pulled funding from fairs back, I believe, in 2012. The reality is that county fairs are not county fairs. They're run and managed by boards that are appointed by the state. I believe that we need to have a truly county fair. I also believe that the county fairgrounds are, if not unique in the state, they're very close to that. I don't know of any other example, but there may be some, limited in number, where the fairgrounds is inside the city limits of the major urban area in the county. That is a unique contributor to our local business and economy, both in terms of the city of Sonora, but also the county of Tuolumne. The fairgrounds, as has been noted, is a resource that the county depends on for any number of emergency services. Those are things that are very critical to the people that live in this county and the people that I and the other four people sitting up here on the dais represent. If that fairgrounds was to go insolvent and the state were to walk away from it, we would lose a tremendous resource. Having said that, I do believe that if we want, if it is in the best interest of the county to have a true Tuolumne County fair at the fairgrounds or wherever, that we have to, well, first of all, that can only truly occur if the management of the facility at which we're having it has some local accountability. And with accountability goes responsibility. So if we want that management structure, whatever that ends up being, of the fairgrounds, if we want that to be accountable locally, we have to accept some responsibility for that. And certainly there's a lot more information that we need to glean before we can make a determination on whether we're willing to accept that responsibility or not. All of Supervisor Gray's comments, other than the roads, because we fund the roads separately, but all of his other comments I think were very germane. I have a very strong interest in pursuing a dialogue, and I think it's a dialogue that is most effectively pursued in two channels. One is in conjunction with the City of Sonora. I think that they are vital partners, and they have, in many cases, the most vital interest in having a continued viable presence of the fairgrounds within their city limits. I think that partnership between the city and the county is important. That's why I chose to table the issue until the city could, we could talk to the city and get a little bit more coordinated response. The other thing that I think that is very important is that we pursue this in partnership with other counties. This is really a rural county fair issue. There are other options. Okay, Madera County has two county fairs, one put on by the state and one put on by the county at different facilities. Modoc County is just, I believe, trying to reconstitute their fair under a 501c3 operation. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but that bears some studying as well. So having said all of that, I think it's important that we open up a dialogue. If this letter is not the right way to do that, then I'm open for some suggestions on how to do that. But we need to open the dialogue now. We are in significant danger of going the way of Modoc County. They did not have a county fair last year, okay, because they just couldn't pull it off. I'm not willing to see us go down that path, and I'm not willing to see the fairgrounds go into a state of further, emphasize the word further, disrepair. Okay, so we need to open up that dialogue. If the state's willing to step up to the plate like they used to before 2012, I say, great, Governor, do that. But if you're not going to fund the fair then and the fairgrounds adequately, then we need to find a solution where that does happen, whether it's a local public entity or a local public-private partnership, or I don't know what the answer is. But now's the time to start talking.
Mr. Chairman, and I'm, again, agreeing with a lot of what you said. I made a point to say that nobody from the fair was here today. Wouldn't a good starting point would be to meet with the people at the fair?
Well,
isn't that a good beginning? You get the fair people, the people from the state. What is the deficiency? How much money do they need more than what they take in?
When you talk about meet with the people from the fair, what people?
Your board, the fair board. Say two ad hoc, two members from the fair board, the general manager or whatever her title is.
Well, right now we have a fracture between the board and the general manager, and the general manager's soon to be stepping down as a result of that fracture. Okay. I don't know who we meet with over there, quite frankly.
You have.
And I think fair board members have been reaching out to certain members of this board and communicating with us their deep concern over the fracture on their board.
It seems like we're trying to solve a board of supervisors are trying to solve a state problem that we haven't made the effort at the local level to solve yet. Now I've met with.
I'll disagree with you because I've been working on this since I was on the Friends of the Fair Board in 2012. and this is not a new problem.
It's a money problem, just like I said at the last meeting. It's a money problem.
It's a management problem, too.
What is the deficiency? How much money needs to be kicked in there to make that fair, viable operation? I do not know that.
It's not just money. You can throw money at it if you don't change them, if you don't improve the management structure. We've had board after board after board that has had
since
numerous
since money went away. Since
yes.
money went away,
yes.
We've had the problem.
But they've had numerous public and tremendous amount of public input that has been totally ignored. I don't have any faith in the current leadership structure because there's no accountability locally. If we don't like what they're doing, if the public doesn't like what they're doing, the accountability is to Sacramento. It is not locally. And until we fix that, we will never have any assurance that we will have an economically viable fairgrounds. And if we lose that, and that possibility gets greater every year that we continue to go down this management path. And I'm not willing to watch our fairgrounds go under.
Okay, can I make a suggestion here? Knowing that you believe local government is best equipped to deal most effectively, this is a paragraph in the letter, the formation of a local ad hoc committee with a process in which, at the time of appointment, how about instead of addressing the appointment of directors, let's address the operation of the fairgrounds.
Okay.
Okay? And then at this time, I'm not willing to go on the hook here saying we're interested in leasing that fairgrounds until we know what we're leasing. And we have no idea at that point.
How about this recommendation? How about if we rewrite the letter? We'll have to do this on the 19th, I guess, but we'll rewrite the letter to basically say that we are interested in entering into discussions with the governor's office on how best to ensure local accountability in the operation of the fairgrounds through a change in, well, not even, I won't even say that. We're interested in entering a dialogue immediately with the governor's office on how to ensure operational accountability, local operational and management accountability for the operation of the fairgrounds.
I like that a lot better than addressing the appointment of directors.
So instead of delaying this until the 19th, because again, I think you said you were going to be out of the area, would you and Supervisor Gray be willing to work on that paragraph and bring it back after our 1:30 appointment?
Sure. I'll write something up and
then
I'll run it by you.
It can go to our CRC.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Let's table this until after the 1:30 appointment. And Councilwoman Connie Williams, I'll also run it by you if I can find you. Okay? Okay. After all of that, let's read our closed session, please. We'll do reports after the 1:30 if we need to.
That sounds good to me. So closed session is conference with real property negotiators, price and terms, authority government code section 54956.8. Negotiators Craig Pedro, Daniel Richardson, related to the .404 acre parcel of common land located west of Mary Laveroni Park in Groveland, and conference with labor negotiators Maureen Frank and Sarah Carrillo, authority government code section 54957.6, all bargaining units.
Okay, do we anticipate a report out? County Council? Okay. Any public comment on the closed session items? Okay. Okay, then we will move into closed session at this time. Pardon me?
Are you going to go to lunch and then return at 1:30?
If we have time after the closed sessions, we may come out and do reports.
Oh, okay.
Okay? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Missing Supervisor Gray. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reconvene us. We are back from closed session with nothing to report. And at this time, will the clerk please read item 14?
Reports.
Okay, I will start with CAO.
Nothing new to report.
Okay, County Council.
Nothing to report.
Supervisor Gray.
Short report. I attended, along with Supervisor Hanvelt, the Rest Creek grand opening. I think it's a great asset to the county. If you get away going to the park, make sure you stop. They're going to hire over 100 people. If you're looking for a job, go on Rest Creek's website and see what they have to offer. Groveland office hours are the second Monday of the month, 9 to 11, and we are now at the Mountain Leisure Center, along with the CSU unit, the Sheriff, Economic Development, the Visitors Bureau, and the Park Service. So it's kind of one-stop shopping. And most importantly, we had a lot of discussion today about this, but we are having the Motherlode Fair, and we don't have any camera here. I was going to hope to get it out to the public, but
There's the fair.
it's not there. So anyway, that's my report.
Okay, Supervisor Hanvelt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did attend the Rush Creek grand opening, and that is a marvelous whole setup there. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what they've done. I'm anxious for it to get to full completion, but it was a good turnout and a great event, and I encourage you also to go there. The other thing I'd like to report out on is that California Public Utilities Commissioner Catherine Sandoval is going to be here on Thursday, largely to meet with me and the ATCA people on communications in the rural counties. This came out of a meeting with the California Emergency Technologies Fund about a year and a half ago, and couldn't arrange for a date, but she's coming on Thursday now, and so we'll take the opportunity to point out tree mortality to her as well.
Okay.
And biomass.
Oh, yes, please, biomass. Supervisor Royce? Okay. Vice Chairman Brennan?
Supervisor Gray hit the county fair, everyone. Okay. It's going to be a good fair.
I think it is. And my only report item was yesterday. I was at the Columbia 4th of July celebration. Wonderful event, day-long event. I think we had a world record distance or something in the egg toss, and 2 people actually got up to the top of the greased pole. So that was kind of interesting, and the parade was wonderful. And in spite of the water main break, and about an hour shutdown of water. So everything worked out pretty well. We had several hundred people. I didn't count heads, so I don't know how many. But it is a great event. Encourage everybody to come next year. And I am looking forward to being at the county fair this weekend, along with probably everybody else in the county. And with that, any public comment on the reports? Nope. Okay. Then we will adjourn for lunch, and we'll be back for our 1:30 appointment. Supervisors meeting for our afternoon session and our 1:30 appointment. Will the clerk of the board please read the 1:30 appointment?
This is a public hearing to consider Cold Springs Water Co-Kern Special Ordinance amending Section 1706.020 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code.
Okay, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Bev Shane, Community Resources Director. The Cold Springs Water Company Incorporated and Peter and Jeffrey Kearns et al. Own a 1.5-acre site that is located at 29020 and 29050 Snow White Ridge Drive West in the Cold Springs subdivision. The project site consists of 3 assessors parcels, 23-31201, 23-31234, and 23-31235. The project site is currently used by the Cold Springs Water Company for a water tank that was constructed after a conditional use permit was issued in 1981 for it. There's also a well house on the property that was constructed in 1960. That well house currently straddles 2 of the assessor's parcels, which are separate legal parcels, and also is located 5 feet from the southwest property boundary. As such, that structure is non-conforming because it doesn't meet current building setbacks. As a non-conforming use, the well house can remain there indefinitely. However, the applicants would like to construct a new well house, and they would like to construct it over the existing well house, and then eventually remove the existing well house. They're doing that in order to protect their equipment, and so they don't have to relocate the equipment that is currently in the well house. By building another structure over the non-conforming structure, they will be even closer to the property line. In order to construct the well house where they would like to, they have applied for a variance to allow the structure to be closer to the property line. It would be as close as 2 feet instead of the required 15-foot building setback. And they've applied for a conditional use permit because public utility uses are conditional in the site zoning. The conditional use permit would recognize other public utility facilities that are currently on the site, such as the water lines, and the pump house, and things like that. In order for the use permit and variance to be approved, the zoning must be consistent with the general plan. So they have also asked for a zone change from neighborhood commercial mobile home exclusion to special commercial mobile home exclusion to be compatible with the site's special commercial general plan land use designation. This project was considered by the Tuolumne County Planning Commission at its meeting on June 15th. After hearing from the applicant, Jeff Kearns, speaking in favor of the project and hearing no opposition, the Tuolumne County Planning Commission did recommend approval of the zone change. The Commission is the decision-making body for the conditional use permit and the variance, and the Commission did approve both of those entitlements by unanimous vote, subject to your board's approval of the zone change today. So today I'm here asking you to act only on the requested zone change because there has been no appeal of the Planning Commission's decision to approve the use permit and variance.
Okay. So this is a public hearing, and if there's no questions from the board, I'll go ahead and open it up to public comment. First, we'll do those for the project.
I'll sit down.
Seeing none, I'll do those against the project. Seeing none, I will do those who are neutral on the project.
Well, I'm kind of surprised you have a public hearing and I'm the only person here, me and Alex, so I don't care one way or the other. Thank you.
Okay. That was a public statement. Okay. I will go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for board comments and or a motion.
Here we go.
I've been struggling all day.
Here we go.
We have technical difficulties. What did we do before computers?
I'll make a motion based on findings, let's see. I'll approve the zone change based on findings A through D and approve.
That's all you have to do.
The use.
It's just the zone change.
Perfect.
Okay, I have a motion on the zone change.
Second.
Okay, I got a second. Motion by Supervisor Royce, second by Supervisor Handbelt. Any other board discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Will the clerk of the board please reread our item? Before I ask you to do that, I will, since there are members of the public that weren't present when we came back from closed session, we had nothing to report from our closed session. And now will you reread item 13?
Continued consideration of approving correspondence to Governor Jerry Brown requesting his support for local vetting of candidates for the Motherlode Fair Board.
Okay. I will go ahead and reread or read what I have drafted and coordinated with Supervisor Gray per board guidance. Governor Brown, the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors would like to express its profound concern with the situation with our Fair Board and request your office work with us to find a solution that will ensure locally accountable Fair Board leadership and a viable future for our fair and our fairgrounds. Community sponsorships play a substantial role in the economic stability of the fairgrounds. Local business confidence in the Fair Board's leadership and their continued support is a critical piece in the continued solvency of the fairgrounds and the Motherlode Fair. Currently, Fair Board appointees are solicited by your Office of Appointments with no consultation with the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors, Sonora City Council, or leaders from the local agriculture and business community. The Motherlode Fairgrounds, although owned by the state of California, is a vital asset both for our local economy and our community disaster response capabilities. During both the Stanislaus Complex fire in 1987, that's a change, and the Rim Fire in 2013, it served as the primary Red Cross evacuation shelter for the entire county. Additionally, the Motherlode Fairgrounds hosts a significant number of our largest yearly community events. These attractions bring in hundreds of people on multiple occasions and are significant economic drivers enhancing our local economy. Knowing that you believe local government is best equipped to deal most effectively with local issues, we are asking your office to work with our elected county and city leaders to develop and timely implement a management process and structure that ensures local accountability of both county fair and fairgrounds management, with the goal to provide the best Tuolumne County Fair possible and the best fairgrounds venue possible for our citizens. We believe each county has its own unique interests in the form and function of its fair. We know our fairgrounds are an essential facility and a vital cornerstone in the economy of both the city of Sonora and the county of Tuolumne. Our local fairgrounds is a critical and irreplaceable element of the county's disaster response planning and execution. The Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors believes that significant local accountability is essential for a viable, locally relevant, and community responsive fairgrounds and fair. We look forward to working collaboratively with you and finding a solution that works for us and perhaps other counties throughout the state as well. And we're going to add, at the request of a couple of the supervisors, CC copies to RCRC and CC copy to the State Fair. And obviously the normal suspects in terms of our elected representatives in the state capitol. Okay, so that's the proposal that's before you. I will, unless there's questions from the board, I'll open it up to public comment. Welcome back.
Are you sure?
I'm always sure.
Okay. If I understood your reading of it sounds like it's just mostly that one paragraph that's changing.
I changed some responsibilities to accountables.
Yes,
And
but
then I changed
you
paragraph
took
4.
out the local ad hoc committee process part?
I took all
Is
of that
correct?
out.
Okay, so then I would be supportive of this letter as I heard you read it, but I would not be in support of sending it to Jerry Brown because I don't really think this is his issue. And I think it should be sent to John Quiros, who's the executive director for the State Fairs and Expositions.
That's who we're CCing.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
normal protocol that we communicate with the governor, and he staffs it out as he sees fit, not as how we see fit.
Well, you get a lukewarm from me on Jerry Brown then, because I think you'd have better luck sending it to John Quiros directly. but-
It will get to him.
That's-
He's copied.
Yeah.
He will be.
That's
calm.
better than ice water, okay?
Well, I think, well, I'd copy the governor and send it directly to him. So, because he's the one who's going to be in charge of it. I don't know that Jerry Brown's necessarily in charge of the fairs. But since you took out all that stuff about the Motherlode Fair Board, and I would be okay with the letter as it is now.
Thank you very much. Okay, bring it back to the board. Supervisor Handbelt.
I generally like the letter, like the tone of the letter, but I have one problem. It doesn't clearly define the issue. We express profound concern over a situation, but it doesn't describe the situation. And it seems to me that that has to be there. Otherwise, they're going to look at it and go, what is this?
Well, the situation is a lack of local accountability. It's in the end of the first sentence, I'm sorry.
Isn't the purpose of the letter is to try to open up a dialogue and then get to that point?
I understand. I'm just worried that you'll get a non-response to it. They'll kind of go, like, what's
Well,
the
I'm
problem?
worried about every letter we send to the state under this.
Well,
Yeah.
but
It's the same.
We're never guaranteed a response from the governor. And I would expect to get a response from his staff, not from him
well, I
personally.
understand. I agree with that.
Move approval of the letter.
Okay. Any other comments on the board?
And just a comment that, I think Randy said it, we've had so many reiterations that would kind of. Thank you. I hear what Supervisor Hanfeld has said, is saying, because with the reiterations, we just kind of have lost what some of the problem is. I'm hoping this opens the dialogue. I would highlight, the second paragraph that talks about the appointment process. And again, I'm going to expect that you're going to carry this message to RCRC and work with the other rural counties that are having issues.
Yeah, and I do want to emphasize that this is not a Tuolumne County issue all by ourselves. Virtually all the rural counties in California are not doing real well, with maybe one or two exceptions on their fairs. Any other comment? Okay.
I will second the motion.
Okay, I got a motion by Supervisor Royce, a second by Supervisor Gray. And before I call the question, I would like to thank the cooperation of my colleagues on the board in getting this thing put together properly, and or at least my view properly. Anyway, so I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Is there any other business before the board today?
One other thing, because we didn't have the camera on earlier in the day.
Turn on the camera. We do have a county fair this weekend.
Make sure everybody comes.
Everybody out in Tuolumne County land, show up. It's going to be a great fair. Okay, with that, meeting is adjourned.